Hello and welcome to Scott Bryant's Fitness Systems, or Scott Bryant on YouTube. And this video is all about websites, the cons, the pluses, and why you must have a website for your business and how to find a good web guy. So for me, being in business over 20 years, I've always been online, and I know how important it is to keep up to date with the trends and what's going on online, in which to always get business and always make money. Now, my website some years makes me a huge amount of money and some years it's less. And every year it seems like the amount of people that look for my business or personal training is going down, especially in personal training. If you Google how many people search for a personal trainer per month, it's about 25,000. But that could be other trainers looking at other trainers and not always customers. Does that make sense? But back 20 years ago, there used to be 50,000 searches a month. So the search ratio has gone down. The same as in the gym. If you work in a gym, there's 10 trainers, only 3% of people want PT. So if there's 3,000 members, which normally the gym is lying about that, so it would be less and less people that you can tap into for PT. So having a website for any business is absolutely critical. So when you have a website, you've got to get a great web guy. And I've been through about 7. My first web guy was really, really good. And then I think he moved away or something happened, so I couldn't use him anymore. Then I had another web guy. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just 2 or 3. Then I had another web guy who works for Martin Lewis, and he said that he was just concentrating on that and concentrating doing the Money Savers website. And then recently I had a website. I'm not going to recommend his name or his website because he's absolutely terrible. And I wanted to get away from the hosting that I was with because they kept messing around with sending me bills when they shouldn't have been. I kept having to call them to sort stuff out. It was a real nightmare. So I asked him to take it over. He said, yeah, of course I can. But when I Googled, I LinkedIn looking for a web guy. Guess how many people contacted me? 120 web guys. So that shows that same as the PT market, personal training market, the web designer market is totally saturated. So this one guy I spoke to, he seemed really good. When I said to him about SEO, can you get me page 1 for a certain keyword? Yes. Will my website be fast? Yes. Are you regular and consistent? Yes. We're a brilliant company. And so I signed up with him and I paid him £625 to transfer it across and to do some SEO and some other bits and pieces. So the SEO stuff didn't start off that well. There's a thing called rank math where if you put your URL in, it tells you what your SEO is like on your website and it tells you exactly what to improve. So he got it up to 60%, but I got it up to 92%. Then he said he said on his website that he got my website faster. That was a complete lie. I employed another guy to do it. A girl, sorry. And then on top of that, the hosting that I was on with him, that was fine, but it gave me errors on the front of the website if I tried to upload and change things, and on the back end of the website if I tried to put in a blog and stuff like that. And he said it wasn't him, it was other people on the website, and there was nobody else on the website. So I knew he was completely lying. I don't know how you can just lie to a customer like that. I would never do that. So with him lying, I found a new guy, not expensive at all, was happy to pay him. He'd done a brilliant job transferring it all over, didn't mess it all up whatsoever at all, and it's running perfectly. Touch wood, so far. And he's a really nice guy as well. You know, he comes across really well when I'm emailing him and stuff like that if I want him to do other stuff. So be careful what web guy you go with. And the questions you need to ask: how many websites have you designed? How many of them are page 1 in Google? And if I pay for anything with you, does it include SEO, which is search engine optimization? Okay. Now, SEO, search engine optimization, can be difficult because Google keeps changing it all the time. Whereas 1 minute iStock images are allowed and the next minute they're not. 1 minute they want 100 words in a blog and then the next minute they want 3,000 words in a blog. Do you see my point? So it's always changing. And the same with the plugins that you can put in your website in the back end to make them faster, to make the images smaller. There's lots of plugins that you can use. Many of them are free and many of them you pay a lot of money for. So it's really important for you to work out which ones are beneficial. If you're like me, and I've been online for 20 odd years, and I watch lots of videos on SEO and I Google it, so I know I'm in the right direction and not fucking my website up when I try and change things. Now, if you copy and paste my URL, put it into Rank Math, you'll see it's 92%. If you put it into Speed Checker, you'll see it's, I think it loads in milliseconds now, which is even better. And if you look on my homepage, I've got all the detail stuff on up on the top on the left hand side. And this is because people's eyes track from left to right, then down a website. This has been scientifically proven somehow. And then you've got the 7-second test. So if I don't grab you in 7 seconds with a big fist, you're not going to buy from me. Does that make sense? So I read a website earlier on today, and the website was all about the person's qualification, but not about what I want to buy. Does that make sense? So let's say you're a web guy, you're designing your own website to get people to buy your business services from you. What you should have on it is, are you fed up with web guys not answering their phones? Does your web guy answer his text when you contact him? Has your web guy done a good job of your website that you paid him to design for you? Is it fast? Is it optimized? Will it go page 1 or page 2 or page 3 in Google? If you answer no to these questions, please get in contact. And these are all the bugbears that people have with web guys, is that they don't seem to take their job that seriously. Does that make sense? Not all, a percentage. I'm not saying all of them are like that. I'm saying a percentage of them are like that. And it's the same with the personal trainers. A lot of personal trainers won't get you to sign a contract, won't design you a functional program, and won't update your program on a regular basis. And 98% of them are not even doing any assessments whatsoever. Whereas I do all the opposite. I give you a program, you get a contract, I assess you regular intervals to make sure we're going in the right direction. And if I learn anything new, I share it with you. And this is what web guys don't do, in my opinion, in my own experience of web guys, yeah? So really important, your website must be fast. Look at your bounce rate in Google Analytics. If your bounce rate is through the roof, that's not good. If the bounce rate is really low, like I watch when people land on my website, I've got live chat and that tells me where they are in the world, okay? And it tells me how long they've been on the website as well, which is great because then I know I'm always passing the 7-second test when I add a page to the website. Does that make sense? So having a high bounce rate is bad. Having a slow website is bad. Having a website with not great information. Now, this is another thing that I've had happen to me in the early days and now, is that people will copy and paste my page and put it on their page and put their like, say they haven't got clients, they'll copy and paste a testimonial from mine, put it on theirs. But what they don't realise, I can go to a system called Copyscape and I can report them to Google, and Google goes, right, they're doing things wrong, so we're going to drop them down to page 30. Does that make sense? So you can't get away with it anymore. You can't cheat the system like people did with mine back in, how many years ago? I think it's probably about 5 years ago. I was page 1 for London personal trainer, which is a great keyword. And I'm like, fucking hell, I'm dropping down. And I went right down to page 30. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So my web guy had a look, and what happened is that lots of other web guys were doing backlinks to my website without telling me and me giving them authorization, which Google thought I was scamming it, so they dropped me down to page 30. And it took me over 2 years to get to where I am now. So that's why you must never copy anything. If you copy stuff, you're fucking yourself. So don't do it. It's not worth it. And don't let your web guy do it neither. Yes, you know, a lot of websites will have personal trainer or London or back pain or corrective exercise or all these keywords. That's fine. It's copying the whole text, which is wrong. Does that make sense? So if I've got 30 testimonials, you go, right, I'm going to copy and paste that, put that on my website, and my phone will start ringing. No, it fucking won't. And your website will drop down to 0. So be very careful what your web guy does or what you think that you can do to scam Google. You cannot scam Google at all. So I recently got a horrible testimonial. I think it was just maybe a clash of personalities, or the person totally misunderstood me, or the person's just a nasty person. But it was absolutely horrible, and Google took it down. So that shows you that Google looks at stuff, and if I'm unhappy about something because I've been online for so long and what the person was saying was completely incorrect, they'll take it down. Does that make sense? The same it happened on my on another part where I'm on Google, and this was another website hosting something of mine, and there was a bad review there. So I sent in an email, said this is wrong, blah, 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 blah. It got taken down. So they will do that now. And I think that's because of bullying, harassment and misinformation, or some people just want to put other people down because they're more successful or they're doing better things than them. So they want to sort of like prod them and send them a dagger or a dart. Does that make sense? So highly important, make sure your website's fast. Make sure it's only got 2 colours on the homepage. Make sure you use your own images, not iStock. iStock doesn't work anymore. Make sure it's about your client and not just about you. Yes, the client wants to know, you know, what your background is, who you've worked with, who you've helped, and where you are in social media. So you have a page about you, like what I've got. My About You page is quite in depth. But that's to help with the algorithms, as well as if a client phones me and they go, I just want personal training, I'll say to them, have you read my website? Do you know exactly what I do? And if they can't tell me what I do over the phone, I know that they're going to completely waste my time. And I can't really help them. Because if somebody wants my services and I'm not cheap, I'm very expensive, they would read all the way through it to make sure they're making the good decision. Does that make sense? Then rather call me instantly and not look through it. And I say to them, do you know what I do for a living? Oh yeah, you're a fitness instructor. Well, I'm not a fitness instructor. I was 20 years ago. Does that make sense? So really important for you to do that with your website, where you know exactly what's on it, back to front. So then that way, when you do get time-wasting calls, which every single business gets this. So I was working with a very successful property developer, and we was having a debate about how many calls or inquiries you have to have until you get a genuine lead. And it's 10 inquiries before you get a good lead. Now, for me, it's a little bit less than that, which is great, but it's normally 10 inquiries. He would spend 10 clicks on Google before he got a decent inquiry. And he got time wasters, and he was a successful property developer. So that made me really think that you know, everybody gets time wasters. Everybody gets people that are not generally want what you sell. Like I had somebody call me today, picked up the phone, the number wasn't the number was blocked. As soon as I heard their voice, I just said, before you try and sell me something, I said, why have you blocked your number? And the line went dead. Because they know they're trying to scam me, and I know they're trying to scam me. Does that make sense? A genuine company or a genuine person that's looking for your services will give you their email address, will give you their phone number for you to contact them, and ask you decent questions in an email. Not put 3 words hoping that you're going to contact them. Does that make sense? So I probably get more fake business inquiries on Google than what I do genuine ones. So you've got to wade yourself through it, and I just cut people dead. I don't stand any nonsense. I had a woman, she called me the other week, and she went, oh, you're on Google. She went, we can get you higher in Google reviews. And I know that she can't. And if they scam you Google reviews and give you high Google reviews, as soon as Google realizes that's your website gone, that's your Google profile gone. So it's not even worth paying them, because you're just doing yourself. You'll pay them, then they'll change their number or something, they'll disappear, and you won't get anything from it. Does that make sense? So be really, really careful. So always make sure your contact details are really easy to find. And remember, if you're not in Google Maps, you're losing traffic, and you're losing a percentage of people that might want to use you. And it is a bit complex to set up, but you can set it up yourself and get it all up and running like I have. And then you can put videos on it, you can put ads on it, you can put info on there when you've done a new course, or you're offering a new service and all that. And I've been on there for a while, but I just joined Fiverr, and I'm advertising on Fiverr. I don't know if it's going to be any good. I'm just trying it out, see if it works or not. And that's the thing, is in SEO, search engine optimization, you've got to keep trying stuff to see what pushes you higher in the rankings. So I put on my high ranking pages, I put certain things on there to make it rank higher and jump 3 or 4 places in Google. The thing you got to remember about Google is that, let's say you're page 1, number 1 this month. Next month, you might be page 2, number 1. Because they change the algorithm every month. So everybody gets a chance of being page 1. Or you might drop down, say you're page 1, number 1, you might drop down to, instead of being number 1, you might drop down to number 14. And then the following month, you might go back up to number 5, and then come back down to number 18, and then go back up to number 1 again. Does that make sense? And this is what the web guys don't tell you. So you're getting excited that you're number 1 and thinking that you're going to get all the work, but then you drop down a week later. Does that make sense? Now, Google AdWords, I've tried it a couple of times. And I might be doing something wrong, but it just eats your money really quickly. So you've got to remember, if you're doing Google AdWords and you're at the top of the search, say term personal fitness trainer London, and you're at the top, you're getting clicks, which is great, but 50% of them clicks are going to be other trainers going, I don't like that cunt, don't like him, click, 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 click. That's a tenner gone. You are going to get a percentage which is going to be genuine customers, but it's going to be quite small. Because every time I've spoken to my clients, I say, how did you find me? Oh, Google search. Okay. Did you click on an ad? Oh, I'd never click on ads. The amount of people that have said that to me is phenomenal. And I think because they don't trust the ads, because anybody can set an ad up. Does that make sense? And not be, Google has made it tougher to set up. And but many people don't trust it because they don't think it's ethical, or that it might be a scam company. Like, I've clicked on a couple for looking at search engine optimization, and they want your email before they'll let you use their free system, and that's a scam company in India. Does that make sense? And obviously the budget that you have to have for doing Google AdWords is going to be £1,000 a month if you want to stay at the top all the time. And remember that you could be at the top and get no clicks, and then Google drops you down to the bottom again until your click rate goes up in Google AdWords. Then it puts you back to the top again. It's all a scam, really, you know, for Google to make money. And Google's revenue is dropping every year. So that shows you that people were trying it out, it doesn't work, so they come off of it. And Google now give away £400 if you spend £200. So that's £400 if you spend £200. So that's telling you straight away, people are starting, realising it's not working and dropping off. But Google want to keep you on there, hoping that you're going to get a lead or a client and you make money from it, so you'll stay on it and keep paying them. Yes, you can put it against your tax as a taxable expense. But do you really want to do that? I'm not too sure. I've not met anybody that has said to me, you must do Google AdWords because you'll make a fortune out of it. I haven't found anyone that said that. And that's why I concentrate, number one, on SEO, speed, jigging the website. Nearly once a week I check everything because it's part of my business, in which to keep getting revenue, keep getting inquiries and calls. During COVID, I had over 3,000 people land on the website in 1 month and didn't get one call or inquiry. So it shows me that even being on Google is not always the best thing for business. So you should always think about, yes, Google is a must. Networking is a must, but finding the right network to go to, because a lot of them are a big con where they're making money, you're speaking to new people, but they have no intention of booking with you or working with you. So you've got to be careful of that. But the business that's running a networking event, it's like, you know, going on a dating website. It's potluck whether you really get a date and really get somebody genuine. Does that make sense? So make sure you got a free gift on your website that people can download. You can download my back pain weight loss ebook. That will be going email soon, where you can only get it via email. I'm going to do that next. Videos are really, really good for websites because they help with the algorithms and push you a little bit higher. But not everyone's got confidence to talk in front of the camera like I have. So that can be quite difficult for some people. And don't make it too much for a person. So I say to people when they call me or whatever, so what do I do for a living? Oh yeah, you're a personal trainer. I'm coming to you because of the Chek system, and I do get a lot of that because I'm everywhere for that. Yeah, think about your target market, who you want to work with, and don't do your website just for one thing only. This is another mistake I see many people do. So I could put just sports performance on my website, that a person will go land on there and go, sports performance? I'm a golfer. Does he work with golfers? Doesn't say anything about golfers. I'm going to go somewhere else. Does that make sense? So be specific on who you work with and the people you want to help. And then make sure that the page that you've done for that certain keyword, make sure it can be found in Google. Because there's no, I see this, like I look at other trainers' blogs and stuff, and you'll see their blogs, and it's a really good blog, but you can't find it anywhere. So nobody's reading it. Nobody's looking at it. Does that make sense? So you've got to make sure that people can find your blog. So say if you put in Back Pain London, you'll find my blog. If you put in Morbidly Obese London, you'll find my blog, page 1, number 4 or number 5. So you've got to be checking this, and don't trust your web guy to do it, because some of them are too busy and they can't be asked, especially if you're not paying them. So you need to learn how to do this yourself. So great content, great speed, a great looking website, but a sales website. Remember, you're selling yourself. You're trying to get people to buy from you. So think about the questions that you've been asked while you've been in business. If you're new, it's a bit difficult. And think about the questions that you've been asked. So one of mine is on my website is, have you tried other trainers to get in shape? Yes, I have, Scott. But I'm still fat. I'm still in pain. I still can't fucking sleep at night. And you're going to help me. So I'm going to give you, I have faith in you. So I'm going to send you an email and we can have a chat. Like I had a guy last year, lovely guy, and he emailed me. It was a nightmare to get to his. And I got to his in the end, but before I got there, I was like, it's giving me the wrong fucking address, and it's pissing down with rain, it's fucking freezing cold. Fuck it, should I just cancel? So I called him and I said, look, my sat nav on my phone has sent me to the wrong place, I think. And he said, yeah, you're at the other end. You need to go to the other end in which to come to my home. So I managed to get there. And he was a really lovely guy. And I just said to him, why did you contact me? He said, well, I got back pain and my wife said I should get somebody to help me with it. And you come up top of the search. And then he said, I contacted another guy, but he never got in touch. I went, really? And he went, yeah. He went, obviously you strike while the iron's hot. You're here. And we worked together. And it was amazing. So you got to strike while the iron's hot every time. You got to make sure as soon as you get an inquiry, don't put it off, ring, call, whatever that you need to do. And lots of people have said to me, Scott, fucking hell, you're so on the ball. Yeah, because you're going to pay me money, you know. And I hate waiting around. If I go into a shop, I like to have a little browse, leave me alone. And then you come up to me and serve me, or I'll go to the desk, I want to buy this or whatever it is. I hate all that bullshit waiting around, and I hate waiting around for emails. I'm quite impatient like that. But I believe it's good business practice to, you know, get in touch as quick as possible and make the sale or ask all questions. I don't like it when you go on a website and it has frequently asked questions, no phone number, just an email. I like talking to people, because that's how you make a sale. When I was in the gym, Fitness First, at Battersea, it's now closed down, or the big one has, the small one's still open. I used to walk the floor on a mission. I'd walk around, see what watch you had on, see what car you were driving, see what gym clothes you were wearing, and go, right, he's wearing a Tag Heuer, or he's wearing a Rolex, and he's wearing Dolce & Gabbana or something like that. That's a client I'm going to chat to. If somebody's wearing Nike and got a Casio watch on and just looks cheap, I'm not going to chat to them because I know I'm going to waste my time. Does that make sense? It's not always the case, because some people dress down. I remember when I was a nightclub bouncer and I was doing a big fashion gig and loads of celebrities turned up. And I would say 20% of them celebrities dressed down. They wasn't dressing trendy. They wasn't, you know, wearing, you know, trendy names. They were just basic, you know, Primark stuff. And that's simply because they don't want people to know about their wealth, or they don't want to attract unnecessary attention because of what they're wearing, you know. If I remember when I was a doorman, if I was doing a one-man door and you come to the bar dressed really scruffy, I wouldn't let you in because I knew that you may be ready to have a fight. And that's why you're wearing your old clothes, because if they get ripped and damaged. So I remember a doorman friend of mine from Essex, he had that analogy. I went out and bought a brand new suit, brand new tie, brand new shirt, because I wanted to look the dog's bollocks. And he would go and buy everything secondhand. I went, why are you buying everything secondhand? He went, it's only going to get ripped and get blood on it. And I thought, that's a really good point. But I still look smarter than him, you know, only joking. But really, really important, make sure the website's fast, make sure the bounce rate is low, make sure that you would buy from your website, keep it updated, keep it optimized. And if in doubt, the phone comes out. So if you've got a website that's dicking you around, not answering your calls, not answering your texts, the website's not running how it should be, or it's not climbing in the rankings monthly, then it's time to get a new guy. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. 18-inch arms. Good night and goodbye.